But now that this is different, this disease has shown itself to be a little bit different. And so I wish that we could have known more about this instead of learning as it unfolds. It just makes it tough.
Greetings all and welcome to Cochise Convos, a podcast dedicated to sharing your stories and information about Cochise College. This is episode 13 of Cochise Convos Quarantine Edition, where we will be listening to your stories as students and administrators and how you've managed to adjust during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, my guest is Shane Van Bibber, who is the Director of Risk Management at Cochise College, and today he's going to be sharing his experience managing and implementing new safety protocols during the pandemic. Shane, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you and to be able to ask you some questions. So that's wonderful. So in general, how was the quarantine period for you? And were you quarantined with anyone or were you by yourself?
I was by myself. My son just moved out here with me to start taking classes here in August. So even though I was deemed essential and I was at work, reporting to work here on campus the whole time, it's been a little weird being a brand new person out here alone in Arizona, not really knowing anybody except folks here at work. So, it's been kind of weird just kind of getting used to everything, being alone, but it's not been good. It's not been bad.
Quite an introduction to the place, especially during a pandemic. So
Yeah,
it's got to be interesting.
JD likes to joke a lot that, we didn't have any corona problems till I got here. So it's my fault.
So as the Director of Risk Management here at Cochise College, can you walk us through the parameters of your position?
Sure. I'm kind of like the safety guy, when it comes to, I try to be proactive as far as, addressing things that I see as I walk around campus that might need to be taken care of, that could be possible safety issues. I work with our insurance companies as far as claims go and renewals. I work with a lot of different departments, including maintenance, aviation, the security team, just making sure that everything we do is by regulations. I work directly with OSHA and other state organizations for any type of reporting that might need to be done as far as safety or security issues, hazardous material handling, all kinds of things, but I'm the safety guy. That's what I do.
If there's an issue, we come to you.
And I'm fine with that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And especially with the implications of COVID, I'm sure you've been kept very busy. How has your position been influenced and impacted by the pandemic?
It's completely changed. When I interviewed for this position and looked at the job description, there was no mention of becoming a communicable disease expert, but that's pretty much monopolized my time since I've been here in March. And, I spent a lot of time looking at webinars, doing research articles, trying to figure out and become that, have a greater understanding of COVID and just communicable diseases in period. So, part of what I did, one of the first things I had to do to tackle was to come up with a updated communicable disease policy for the college. And I worked a lot with, Wendy and some of the other administrative staff on coming up with reopening plans and mask policies. So a lot of my time now has been dedicated to everything COVID. So it was very different than what I expected.
Absolutely. It's definitely something that was not planned in our year, and to have that come in and turn our world upside down definitely must have been challenging. But thank you for sharing that, because it's so important to know and to make sure we can maintain safe practices while we're all here at Cochise College. So that's great.
Absolutely.
And with that change, how did you modify your administrative operations in order to accommodate the social distancing guidelines?
Not a whole lot. I work in a unique position where there's not necessarily, I don't have a staff reporting to me. It's kind of me addressing a lot of things and handling things myself. So a lot of what I have done going forward is simply adapting what I do as a job to, COVID becoming a lot more of the focus. Spent a lot of time developing reopening plan, making bottles of hand sanitizer and bags for the students, and just getting involved with that. But as far as my general task, and I have a general timeline, a calendar of things that are due each month of the year, and that really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's just COVID has jumped in and taken a lot more of my time.
Just kind of inserted itself in there.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. And with the beginning of the semester underway, what changes can Cochise College students expect when they return to campus?
Yeah, it's a different world, but not necessarily bad. I mean, the key thing is everything we've done, and not me, but just the general everybody that's involved in the college, whether the whole maintenance and facilities team, custodial team, designing the classrooms, working with all the deans to figure out, okay, what do we need in our classrooms? What the max is in each room. So it's been a whole lot of people working together to figure out what we can do to make this campus safe for students to return, because that's what the goal was. We wanted to get students back if we could do it. And so it was understanding what the max number of people could be in each room. And that was the first thing, was understanding social distancing and getting those classrooms set the way they need to be. Increasing the number of computer labs. We knew a big hurdle we'd have to overcome was just the lack of technology in our students' lives outside of this school. They needed what we have at the school to be able to do the things they need to do to succeed. And if a lot of them can't come here, we need to figure out a way to still reach them, or that they can still have access to what they need here at the school, even being distance or alone in a computer lab or whatever. So we've added 6 computer labs. We've added 150 laptops to be able to reserve through the library, hotspots through the library. So we've tried to really overcome the technology hurdle. Sanitization, we've increased how many times every surface in this campus is touched and cleaned every day. Every restroom, every room is deep cleaned twice a day by the custodial staff. And then we also have, as students come into the rooms, to go ahead and take a little bit of that up on themselves. We provide towels and sanitizers so they can clean their workstations as they are comfortable before they can start a class. Of course, the mask wearing is a big thing, and that really came about as some of the local jurisdictions decided to go ahead and implement that as a policy. We knew we'd kind of have to react to that because here in Sierra Vista, we had to comply with that. So we figured out a way that it made sense. We got masks so we could provide them to everybody. They wouldn't have to go someplace else and get them. And, the key thing with a mask is just you're wearing that to protect other people. So it's just showing a courtesy to the person that's 6 feet away from you. Hey, I care about you too, and I'm going to protect you. And that's what's great about Cochise College is everybody really does care that way. So beyond that, the limitations as far as how many people can be in a building, we've limited some of our services such as the library and tutoring, but we still have those available, whether online or you set up an appointment. Advising still there, the one-stops are still there, the bookstore is still there. I definitely miss the cafes and the cafeterias because, those are great. When I first got here, I remember the first month, it was a great way for me to kind of get in and get to meet some people and see some of the students and interact a little bit. Definitely miss that, but hopefully at some point here we'll be able to kick those back in. But there's some changes, but it's still Cochise College, and we're still here to make sure that the students have everything they need to succeed here and in the future.
That's fantastic. And thank you for sharing that. So hypothetically, if I was a student walking into an in-person classroom, what would be the cleaning protocols? You mentioned that students are provided with towels and sanitation solution to clean their areas. Would you recommend them cleaning it once when they get in and then once before they leave, or what would you recommend?
And what we've done is actually when you walk into a classroom, you'll see a diagram by the door that number one explains how the room is laid out. So each different instructor that might be in there can go ahead and know, okay, this is where my students are going to be. And then right next to that is a couple bottles of spray solution, a number of towels that are enough total for everybody that's in the classroom. And so the students will come in and they'll grab a towel and they'll grab the cleaning solution, spray the towels. Don't spray any computers or electronics with the spray directly, but you spray the towel, wipe down your area, your seat, the keyboard, the screen, whatever you think is a touched area. And then go put those back, put the spray bottle back. The towels you'll throw in a little waste basket. It's right there next to it. Because every day the custodial staff will come in and refresh the towels and take the other ones back for cleaning and sanitizing. So that's how we keep up on that. At the end of your class, you don't need to do that because you can if you want to, but we don't want to limit any more the time the instructors have to do what they need to do to teach the students. So what we do is just at the beginning of each session, whenever students are in there, they'll do their space as they see fit, and that'll take care of everything. So really, they just need to do it at the front of their class time.
Awesome. Fantastic. And that's great to know. So that way, if we have any viewers who are coming into class, they know how to follow the guidelines. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So we're going to shift gears a little bit, and you can take this either professionally, personally, or academically. What has been some of the main challenges for you during this pandemic?
Definitely becoming more knowledgeable when it comes to work and knowing what my job entails. Like I said before, COVID has dominated the discussion as far as what I do. When I've got the senior administration and a lot of instructors and a lot of folks looking for answers, there's not a whole lot out there with COVID, but whenever, I get updated every day, I read every article I can so that I can at least start to answer some of those questions and try to figure out what we need to do as an institution to protect ourselves and protect our students. So a lot of my time is spent doing that. It's changed, I'm a very social person. So for me to come out here, and again, I said to be alone, but not to have a whole lot I can go out and do besides, do outdoor activities. So I've definitely really gotten into hiking everywhere I can. I love to visit abandoned ghost towns. It's like my favorite thing to do. So I spend a lot of time doing that on the weekends, but now that my son's here with me, we kind of hang out, and he's a pretty cool roomie, and I try to help him make sure he's got everything he needs to succeed in classes here. So that's kind of changed a little bit. Me, I'd be the type to go out and hang out with people, have dinner and such, but that's changed a little bit right now. But hopefully we'll get to there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, it's definitely
That's
has.
right.
It's influenced our lives in a pretty profound way, and like you mentioned, socially, it has definitely changed quite a bit.
Just with the way COVID has changed, when we started out, the way it looked as, this was really a respiratory disease. It was different. It was new. But that's kind of the way I saw it. What has changed is that, the lingering effects that we're just starting to see of people who have had COVID-19, they've got past the respiratory, they've got past the pneumonia. Now they're home, and, there's different issues that are still with them with a lot of people, whether it be the heart condition that's come up, or some issues with some of the brain scans are irregular for some folks. That's a scary thing about this. And that's what, for me, kind of going into it, was thinking, okay, this will become, to me, I thought it was going to become the next flu, the next cold. We'll have it every year. It'll be a little less tough on us because our bodies have been through it now. But now that this is different, this disease has shown itself to be a little bit different. And so just, trying to figure out in my mind, what that's going to lead to as far as lingering issues for people. And if this new normal, which I kind of hate to use that term, but if this what this becomes, if this what our college has to be, and, how we can still meet everybody's needs in this new environment. So I wish that we could have know more about this instead of learning as it unfolds. It just makes it tough.
Absolutely, because you're going into it only with context-wise what you already know about similar like diseases, and since this is new, it is challenging to try to prepare yourself for something that is completely novel. So I feel that it's really challenging. So within that, you mentioned how socially interactions have had to change quite a bit in order to keep not only yourself but others safe. What are some of your strategies for coping with social distancing?
For me, it's getting outside, whether it's to go on a walk, or I love just wandering around the desert. That's kind of the things I do for me to keep my sanity, with not having a whole lot of people to talk to. But my son being here has helped a lot. Me and him have definitely leaned on each other, and that's been kind of cool. Seeing him, even though it's a new college experience, but at least he's, starting to experience college, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, I think for me is just trying to stay active. I don't want to get in the conundrum of staying at home and just not doing anything. I want to get out, and even though I can't go out and see a whole lot of people, at least I can go try to find a snake in the desert somewhere or something. So.
Exactly. Got to watch out for those Mojaves.
That's right. Right.
That's fantastic. Shane, it has been a pleasure getting the chance to talk with you today. My final question for you before we wrap up today's episode is, do you have any suggestions for how we should proceed with education post-quarantine and post-COVID pandemic guidelines?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing, and what Cochise College is so good at doing, is innovation. Whether it's been the way our instructors have adapted to these new formats to be able to research students in some online format instead of in face-to-face, and still give them quality education. And that's the way it's going to be going forward, whether we figure out some new ways to sanitize or, attack the scene or keep people safer. That's what we'll do. I'll be open to that. And the great thing about the senior administration here is they're very open to that too. They want to just see, number one, our students succeed. And then, also everybody that's here, it's part of this campus, faculty, staff, to see them succeed and reach their dreams too. And so whatever new ways we have to do to make that happen, that's what we need to do. We just need to be open and be willing to see these new things and adapt. And, we'll see everybody succeed and it'll be great.
Shane, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you all for watching and listening along with us. If you like what you hear, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. And be sure to click the little bell icon to enable post notifications so you'll get a notification every time that we post. Thank you again, Shane, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. See ya.